right, the time is 7:30, and I'll call this meeting of the Mayor and Council to order. Today is Monday, September 28th, 2015. All members of the Mayor and Council are present. First tonight, we have our invocation. We have a special treat. Officer Thaddeus Clark with our own Snellville Police Department is going to sing God Bless America for us. Officer Clark.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Thank you, Officer Clark. That was beautiful. Now we have our announcements. On October 2nd, there will be a blood drive here at City Hall from 1:30 to 6:30 p.m. in the community room. To learn more about blood donation opportunities, visit www.redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. On October 11th, you can watch a rebroadcast of this council meeting on Comcast Channel 25 at 6:30. The next regular scheduled council meeting is at October 12th at 6:30 p.m. work session and a 7:30 p.m. meeting here at City Hall. Absentee voting and advance voting starts on October 12th through October 30th. It will take place in the upstairs conference room from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. On October 13th, the Board of Appeals will meet. They'll have a 7 p.m. work session, a 7:30 p.m. meeting here at City Hall. And on October 22nd, the Planning Commission will meet. They'll have a 6:30 p.m. work session and a 7:30 p.m. meeting. Tomorrow we had our annual public safety night scheduled, but due to the weather and the condition of the town green, it has been postponed until a week from tomorrow, and that will be October 6th from 5:30 to 7:30. That concludes our announcements, and now for the Pledge of the Flag, we have Robert Harrington, one of our planning and zoning commissioners, to lead us in tonight's pledge.
Please rise, face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Harrington's also a Vietnam veteran. Thank you for your service, Mr. Harrington. To our ceremonial matters, and we have Resolution 2015-17, Snellville Police Department Appreciation. And this reads, whereas, according to the Underage Drinking Enforcement Training Center, underage drinking is a casual factor in a host of serious problems, including homicide, suicide, traumatic injury, drowning, burns, violent and property crime, high-risk sex, fetal alcohol syndrome, alcohol poisoning, and the need for treatment of alcohol abuse and dependence. Whereas according to the 2014 Gwinnett Coalition for Health and Human Services Youth Health Survey, 19% of Gwinnett County high school students reported using alcohol in the past 30 days. Whereas the Snellville Police Department conducts compliance checks and sobriety checkpoints on a regular basis to help prevent and reduce social and retail access of alcohol to teens and underage young adults. Whereas conducting compliance checks helps ensure that alcohol retailers are checking IDs and practicing safe alcohol sales. Whereas the Underage Drinking Enforcement Training Center believes that comprehensive compliance checks are the key strategy for deterring commercial alcohol sales to minors. And whereas according to Mothers Against Drunk Driving, sobriety checkpoints deter people from committing DUI, prevent others from driving under the influence, and can reduce alcohol-related crashes and fatalities by 18 to 24%, as evident by numerous studies found by the Centers for Disease Control. Whereas because of the dedicated work of the Snellville Police Department and its officers, the annual compliance rate of alcohol retailers in the city of Snellville went from 68% in 2013 to 2014 to 83% in 2014-2015. Whereas Gwinnett United in Drug Education, Inc. appreciates the Snellville Police Department for all of the work the officers do on a daily basis to keep Snellville safe and healthy. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Kelly D. Couts, Mayor of the City of Snellville, do recognize the commitment and dedication of the Snellville Police Department to prevent and reduce access of alcohol to teens and underage young adults. Thanks to their diligence, we have a safer and healthier community. Be it resolved this 28th day of September 2015. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2015-17? Motion to approve. Kraus, is there a second?
Second.
Excuse me. Second by Councilman Emmanuel. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The resolution stands approved. Chief, thank you and your officers for their dedicated work and service to our community. Is Ms. Vance here tonight? You want to present this to the chief?
I also have a plaque with the resolution. So thank you for your service and for helping reduce underage drinking. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
I will just make one note, Guy and Molly and their group also are sponsors of the Cop Cab as well, and they've donated a very nice expanding piece of literature rack for us, and have been very supportive through the whole process of Cop Cab, and have been at a lot of the events and things like that. So Molly, I want to thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That now brings us to our minutes. Do I have a motion to postpone the minutes until our next regular scheduled meeting?
Motion to postpone approval of the minutes of the September 14th meeting till the next meeting.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Manuel, seconded by Councilman Howard. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. Is there a motion to postpone the executive session meeting minutes?
Motion to postpone executive session meeting minutes.
So motion by Councilman Emmanuel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Howard. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. We have no invited guests tonight, and that brings us to our committee and department reports. Here representing the Board of Appeals is Ms. Sweeney.
The Board of Appeals met on September 8th, 2015. We had one application, BOA 15-9, for an educational training facility to be located in the old Waffle House building on Highway 78. The vote was unanimous for approval. That was the only one we had.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeney.
Okay.
We have Ms. McAloon for a stat report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I was instructed, I have 2 minutes and 1 second to give my report, so I'll make it snappy. Anyway, our last stat board meeting was held on September 21st, and as always, anybody's welcome to attend our meetings. They are held the third Monday of every month at Summit Chase Country Club. Last Sunday, we celebrated our 5th annual International Festival. We want to thank St. Oliver's Catholic Church for allowing us to use and display their flags on the town green to promote our event and throughout our event. We also want to thank the Arabic Baptist Church for bringing some additional flags that were paraded through our Parade of Nations and throughout the day as well. Many thanks to the City Council for not only volunteering their time at and throughout our event, but for your continued support of all stat events on our town green. We want to thank our volunteers who give so freely of their time, and to the many students who volunteered from South Gwinnett High School. Like I've said many times before, our volunteers are the heart of the city. We have a couple of events coming up, one being our Fall Festival on October 10th from 12 to 6, followed by our last concert of the season featuring The Return. It's a Beatles tribute band. And that is sponsored and presented by Walton EMC. From 6 to 8. In conjunction with our Fall Festival, the First Baptist Church of Snellville will be having a trunk or treat with approximately 150 cars in attendance from 4 to 6 on their front parking lot. So mark your calendars for a full day of family fun. So we're very excited. We've got a lot going on, so we invite everybody to join us on the 10th. Please join us for our next Business After Hours on October 22nd at Summit Chase Country Club from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Presented by Snellville Tourism and Trade, the Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce, and the Heart of Gwinnett. We want to thank Summit Chase Country Club for hosting this event, and to Main Street Restaurant for providing the food and sponsoring the food for that event. Right around the corner is our Christmas tree lighting and our infamous lighted parade that we started last year. We encourage everybody to participate in the parade. Applications are available online at www.snellvilletourism.com. Our Scarecrow Contest, that is our 3rd annual this year. We have 20 scarecrows from different businesses around the city. Please go to our website and vote for your favorite one. They've put a lot of work into them, so please support them. And as always, we ask you to please like us on Facebook. We're trying to achieve our 10,000 likes. We have to catch up to the PD, so we need your help and support. That will conclude my report. Any questions?
Not really a question. I saw this today, and I think it's very apropos because you talked about the volunteers, and it's a quote by Elizabeth Andrew, and it says, "Volunteers do not necessarily have the time. They have the heart." I think that's pretty well speaks of our volunteer base here in the city of Snellville.
Absolutely.
All included, so anyway.
Absolutely.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McAloon. Mr. Sanders is out on training. The chief, as our assistant city manager, is filling in tonight. Chief, do you have a report for us?
There's no report.
Thank you. We have no consent agenda. We have no old business. That brings us to new business. Consideration approval to authorize the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Snellville and Gwinnett County Board of Registrations and Elections for city elections using election equipment. So I have a motion to approve the mayor to execute this intergovernmental agreement.
Motion to approve, Mayor signing the intergovernmental agreement.
There's a motion by Councilman Emanuel. Is there a second? Second by Councilwoman Kraus. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. Item B is mayor's nomination and council's confirmation of Maxine Finch to post for the Planning Commission Board. Ms. Finch had submitted her application some time ago. The Planning Commission did vet her, and they are recommending her approval. However, it's come to my attention that Ms. Linsky has resigned from the Planning Commission, so I'll be putting her forward tonight for post number 5. All those in favor of the nomination signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The nomination stands approved. Item C, consideration action on award of bid for stormwater drainage projects. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the award of the bid for the stormwater drainage projects.
Yeah.
Plus an addendum.
We gotta go here, we gotta go here. I wasn't fast enough.
Okay, the use of our stormwater utility fee will be put to work. The estimated total for all locations is $464,521. We would like to recommend the Dickerson Group be awarded all projects as they are the lowest responsive bidder.
So your motion is to award the bid to the Dickerson Group not to exceed $464,000.
$464,521, correct.
There is a motion. Is there a second? The motion by Councilman Emmanuel, seconded by Councilwoman Kraus. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 5 in favor. All those opposed, that's 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. That now brings us to our council reports. Ms. Bender. Mr. Emmanuel.
Thought you were going to get off easy, didn't you? I just want to say one more time that our police department is always right up at the top of their game, keeping our city safe, and I think we are the envy of a lot of places in Gwinnett County. I'd like to commend the chief because it starts with him, and if you see an officer, say thank you. They just do an absolutely outstanding job.
I just want you to know that I've resurrected the Coop. I let it go for a while and decided I'd just let it go till the next council sat on the dais. And I was urged to resurrect it. So we've had one meeting. And I just want to give you a definition of it so that you'll understand what I'm working on. The Coop is a coalition of operations planning. And all it involves are the government buildings. City Hall, the Senior Center, Police Department, Parks and Rec, and Public Works. In case of a disaster in one of these buildings, this is not city or resident, it's the government buildings, that we have a policy in place, that we have a hierarchy in place, that if something happens to the police department, it doesn't have to be devastating, it can just be no power or something happens to it, that we know that the police department can go to Lawrenceville, the city of Lawrenceville. We have hopefully a written agreement. We have a verbal agreement, but we're hoping for a written agreement that the police department can take their stuff and go to Lawrenceville and stay and keep it going. So even if something bad were to happen in one of our government buildings, we would be able to keep going because we have to keep going for the citizens. We can't just stop. Somehow we have to figure out a way to keep the payroll going, to keep the people going, to keep the law going, to keep the city functioning like nothing's happened. So we're trying to make a very smooth transaction for this. And it also includes in the buildings that there are diagrams on the walls that show people how to get out if they need to get out in a hurry, a fire drill, for example. And that we're going to have a fire drill so that the employees know where to go, where their evacuation area is, and who got left behind. Do we know who's there and who came in? Brian's on second floor here. If we get a bomb call, do people know what their boxes are in their room? Would Brian know that box is supposed to be there? There has to be a lot of communication. So you kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. Tom, yeah, you're looking at me like, lady, you're just not making it here. I'm okay, you got it? Okay. So I'm going to stop there. You got the gist of it. That's what we're working on, and hopefully it'll pass. If it doesn't, if I can't get it finished in my term, I do hope that the new council will keep it going and get it passed, and then we'll have a policy. It's just a piece of paper. It's a booklet. But we will have a disaster policy for the government buildings. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for letting me speak among you. Good night.
Thank you, Ms. Kraus. Mr. Howard.
Well, good evening. How's everybody? We're on track. I'm not going to keep you that long. How many of you had a chance to go to the farmer's market this year? 18 weeks of the farmer's market. You know, it's just amazing that group of volunteers gets up at before the sunlight and gets out there and gives their heart and soul to this city. And I'd like all the volunteers for the farmer's market and everybody that's participated in the farmer's market, I'd like for them to stand. I'd like to recognize all of y'all that have done that are here tonight. So. Because I tell you, it really is a labor of love to watch these people get out, especially this past Saturday where I was privileged enough to be there during the rain and the mud and everything else. But the folks that do this week in and week out are truly an amazing bunch. Want to talk a little bit about the Cop Cab. If you got your Snellville Spirit magazine, there was a nice little article done based on our trip down to Savannah and the visit with Pooler PD. We continue to get accolades for that. Got a little good news in the mail today, and I'd like to publicly thank Jarrett Blankenship for 2 donations here that were mailed in by him and in support of the Cop Cab, because you know it is a privately funded, citizen-funded, private company-funded opportunity that we have. I mean that's what drives the gas, you know, the fixing, the repairs, and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you, Mr. Blankenship, for that. And you'll be getting, we have a form we'll be sending you acknowledging that, and we'll send it through our CPA, our Snellville Citizens Police Academy, is how we operate that fund out of, and we'll make all those notations and we'll get that out to you to the address listed on the envelope here, and I just wanted to publicly say thank you for that. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps in that regard. Speaking of that, we had the car at the Guns and Hoses event, the Chick-fil-A superhero night at the 78 Chick-fil-A. It was a great event, great weather, had a great turnout. Took it down this weekend to the Legacy Beverage in Loganville. They were called and requested it sit in front of their building for their first-year anniversary. It's incredible how time's flying here. And St. Oliver's yesterday, I'm not sure we ever hit the mark getting it out there, but St. Oliver's asked for it yesterday too during their annual picnic, and hopefully we got it there. But we got a lot of opportunities to do some more wonderful stuff with that, and I certainly continue to appreciate the citizenry and the support of the businesses of that vehicle as we try to diminish the number of drinking-related arrests and accidents. I understand we didn't have a real good week last week, or I guess in retrospect we probably had a good week. We had caught 4 in one night. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still a problem. And I know texting and driving is another one, and I got something thinking about for that. But, you know, getting behind the wheel impaired is another problem. And we haven't outrun it yet. And so as long as, you know, I have a breath in me and that car is able to drive, I want it to be seen. I want it to be out there. I think it makes an impact. I had it at the football game 2 weeks ago at South Gwinnett. And, you know, it just really does make an impact. When you see kids surrounding themselves with it and taking pictures and their parents initiating the conversation about what the car means, and when you're able to see that interaction between kids and their parents, and even kids between kids. I'm very fortunate to be able to have that thing and be able to use it to represent not only our city, but a message I think that is all too often left untalked about, is that we all have to pay attention to that, because it may not necessarily be the person behind the wheel that's intoxicated that has the issue. It may be the family they affect that they've just run over. So Anyway, thank y'all for that. I appreciate it again. Shop local. Thank y'all for the opportunity to serve this fine city.
That concludes the council reports. Now for the mayor's report. Councilman Kraus, it's perfect timing. I did receive when I went to my office during the break a letter from Georgia Emergency Management that the hazard mitigation plan with Gwinnett County and the city of Snellville had been approved, and it encouraged us to get our emergency team back together to see what type of funds we would qualify for. So I'll pass that letter on to you, and hopefully y'all can work on that. I want to echo what Ms. McAloon said and thank the volunteers of the International Festival. I know that Ms. Forbes was there with her Jamaican Association, and former Councilman Sabag was there with an Arabic association, and it was a good time, and sat on the town green and met some new friends and learned a little bit about the different cultures that are represented here in the city of Snellville. So thank you to the volunteers for that. Want to also thank the United Ebony Society that invited me out to their meeting last week. Some of you may know Robbie Moore. She was the founder of the United Ebony Society, and they've now had 2 schools named after founding members. There was one after Miss Moore, and Beauty Baldwin now is going to have a school named after her. So that is a very influential society here in our community, and they have strong ties to the city of Snellville, so we're proud of that. Also, have the picture. Forgot to send it to Ms. Fleeman, but I want to congratulate Brookwood High School. Friday night, it was a chilly and rainy day, but they took on South Gwinnett for the Battle of Snellville and for the Mayor's Cup. And South Gwinnett had won the Mayor's Cup for the past 3 years. But this Friday night, Brookwood finally won the Mayor's Cup, and I was happy to present them the trophy, especially being Brookwood being my alma mater. So congratulations. The South Gwinnett players played a hard game. Till the very last minute, they were trying to tie it up, and so I also want to congratulate South Gwinnett for a hard-fought battle. And then finally, I mentioned the Scarecrow Contest. Our own Briscoe Park has an entry in the Scarecrow Contest, so if you haven't checked out the Scarecrow at Briscoe Park or any of the Scarecrows, please go over there and do so. And it's been a record 2 short meetings, 2 smooth meetings in a row, and so let's open it up to public comment and see what other trouble we can get into, right? If you have any public comment, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Doug Adams, 2896 Milton Bryan Drive, Loganville. For the Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce, our luncheon, October 21st this month, we are going to, kind of fits with what you guys were talking about with your award. We're going to have our theme is celebrating our police force. So we'd love, all the council. We're going to have representatives from the 3 cities, police forces, and we'd like to invite everyone, the community and everything to support that. It's at 11:30 to 1 o'clock, October 21st at Summit Chase Country Club. So thank you very much. Thanks.
I'll be brief. Believe it or not. Kathy Emanuel, 1313 Temple Johnson Road. I know you did mention it in the announcements, but I want to reiterate that Public Safety Night has been postponed a week. If you have any question, you can look at the green. It pretty well explains itself. But I did want to emphasize that as we speak, members of the police department and the volunteers from the alumni are working very hard to pull all the pieces together to get all the exhibitors back out there next week. It's still going to be a great event. Don't think because we postponed it, it's just going to be a puny little yucky thing. So please come out and join us a week from tomorrow night, and we'll have another great event. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, councilors, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Claudette Forbes. I live at 2781 Londonderry Court. When our politicians mess up, we do not hesitate to call them out, nor do we hesitate to express our displeasure. So when they do something commendable, we should not hesitate to acknowledge it. I moved to Snellville over 22 years ago, and back then, I do not recall anyone of color working at City Hall. If they were, I'm sure someone will correct me. But today, I see Mrs. Phyllis Richardson sitting up there holding the title of Snellville City Clerk. Then I was made aware that the city of Snellville recently hired 2 more women of color. This is indeed a pleasant surprise. So, I started to reflect on this change, and it did not take me long to realize that Mayor Kelly Courts is single-handedly responsible for this change. I recall not so long ago, when she hired Mrs. Richardson as city clerk, that she immediately came under fire, but she stood strong and fought like a lioness for diversity in the city of Snellville. She spent a lot of political capital and proved that she was a force with which to reckon. Today, the city clerk's position has been downgraded, and I can only hope that one day it will be restored. She might not be directly responsible for hiring these 2 women, but she certainly went to battle to make it possible, and she has the scars to prove it. So I stand here as a woman of color to personally thank you, Mayor Courts, for having the guts, the brass, the gall, and the profound courage to fight for what is right. You will go down in history as the first female mayor of Snellville and the one who diversifies City Hall. You have paved the path on which others will tread, and for that I thank you. I thank you for loving the city of Snellville, my home, your home, our home. I thank you for your sense of fairness, and I thank you for your love of humanity. You stood tall and you took the blows, and for that I will be forever grateful. Thank you.